Welcome to Kaleidoscope. I'm Uche Aluku. Coming up on the program, leading building materials company and cement manufacturer Lafarge Africa PLC distributes 60,000 relief packages to older citizens and those in need in communities across Nigeria to cushion the impact of COVID-19 on vulnerable households. The Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Lafarge Africa PLC, Kaleidoscope, highlights the organization's contribution to sustainable development in communities where it has its operations in Nigeria. The Redeemed Christian Church of God donates medical supplies including 200,000 hand gloves and 8,000 hand sanitizers to Lagos State Government and medical equipment from its intensive care unit to Ogun State Government to strengthen their response to the COVID-19 outbreak. And the Assistant General Overseer of Administration and Personnel of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Johnson Odeshola, tells us about what the church is doing to give back to society. It's great to be back with another episode of the program. Lafarge Africa PLC, a leading building materials company and cement manufacturer in sub-Saharan Africa, is providing relief packages containing essential items to reduce the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on vulnerable populations. Take a look.
Bags of relief items to help cushion the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak are offloaded from a truck. At least 60,000 beneficiaries will get these essential items courtesy of Lafarge Africa PLC. In Lagos, like other states where the intervention is replicated, the target group are older citizens and the needy. The beneficiaries were selected with the help of government at the grassroots.
11 items in each pack, and each pack is meant for a family or a household. We have rice, beans, gari, semolina, pasta, or what you know as spaghetti, milk, tea, tomato paste, vegetable oil. We have mentioned our commitment to health and safety. We also think it's important to support you to wash your hands regularly. And so we have a pack of 6 soaps and we have a bottle of sanitizer in each pack.
The beneficiaries, many of whom are retirees, appreciate the donation.
This palliative will go a long way to satisfy me and my extended family.
The local government chairman commends the efforts by Lafarge Africa to support government in the provision of palliatives for residents.
It's a big challenge to all the national, international, multinational companies that are bound in this council. Quite a number of them, without mentioning them, that are thrown tones away. They have not deemed it fit to come and partner with the council to have done this, and that is why we are highly appreciative to Lafarge.
Lafarge Africa PLC, we present to you this relief material.
The company also distributed food packages and medical essentials through royal fathers and community leaders in its host communities in other parts of the country.
We've reached out to all the local government areas in Lagos because we operate in Lagos. We've done Ogun State, we've done Gombe, we've done Cross River State. So we've tried to reach out as much as we can, especially to where we're operating. And Lagos is our main state. So we've ensured that we've reached out to all the local governments, and we've identified over 60,000 households who really need this help, and we've reached out to them.
Lafarge Africa PLC, a leading sub-Saharan Africa building materials company and cement manufacturer under Lafarge Wholesome Group, says its operations are built on the key pillars of sustainability, health and safety, and as such, mobilizing resources at its disposal to support the national effort to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic are in line with its goals of contributing positively to society.
I spoke with the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Lafarge Africa PLC, Mr. Kaleidoscope, who says the Nigerian team, like other teams under the Lafarge Wholesome Group in other countries, started working early on improving their level of preparedness to respond to COVID-19.
Well, actually, as part of Lafarge Africa strategy and as part of being part of the group of Lafarge Wholesome, since the spread of the COVID-19 late in 2019, early 2020, we were one of the first countries to be ready with the action plan how to mitigate the risk in case of any COVID-19 cases was identified. So on a group level, on a country level as well, we have developed what we call the BRT, which is the Business Resilience Team. It's headed by the country CEO, which is myself, as well as the core functions in our organization, ONHR, communication, industrial, and health and safety. So this team members get together on a weekly basis in case there is no risk identified in the organization. And since we have noticed the index case in Nigeria that was in one of our plants, the business resilience team was on daily meetings to mitigate such a risk. Based on that, there was developed plans already, trainings given to the people, and especially on our clinics and our medical staff, they were trained how to identify the risk, how to report it, as well as communication was established by the states where we are operating, as well as international SOS and the CDC organization in Nigeria. So that's in a nutshell the preparation that we had even before Corona was identified in the country.
Okay, so it's a good thing we've seen a lot of companies responding to this crisis. And we know that's what CSI is about, basically responding to socioeconomic issues, among other things, of course. Can you tell me some of Lafarge Africa PLC's CSI initiatives that you would say speak to the impact in Nigeria?
Well, actually, the CSR is very much embedded in everything we do. So at the plant level, where we work within our communities, with our stakeholders in each of the states, where our head office is based in Lagos. So we are present in different states. We are in Ogun State, we are in Gombe State, as well as Cross River State, and our head office here is in Lagos. So we have full engagement with the communities surrounding our plants, and we try to serve these communities with the best of the knowledge of the group as Lafarge Wholesome, as well as mapping these knowledges to what we have on the ground that suits the purpose in the countries where we are operating. So in terms of CSR, we are very much engaged in environment. We are very much engaged in sustainability by developing renovated products. We are very much engaged in water treatment, biodiversity, education, avoiding literacy by fighting and providing more education and more tools. So CSR for us is a multidimensional approach where we try to embed it in our business. So it's not like a separate line item where we deal with it as a function for branding or marketing, as well as it's more as part of our business as usual every day. So we have multiple initiatives. We have done a lot in the planetary. We have done a lot in supporting education. We have done a lot in water treatment, the best usage of water because of the scarcity of water in most of our countries, and particularly here in Nigeria as well.
And how much do these projects cost the organization on a yearly basis? Like, what's the budget for CSR annually?
We have different budget every year. It depends on the needs. We have a CSR department. It's very close to our working environments. They come up at the end of each year with the types of projects and initiatives they want to develop around our plans. And based on these needs and how close it is to serve our communities, we set the budget on an annual basis.
Can I ask for some specifics about these projects that contribute to the SDG goals? So for instance, what are these projects? What communities are they were they set up in? Can you get some of those?
The one that stands out really for me and on personal level, I care a lot about it is the illiteracy fighting around our communities and developing the education by supporting the young generation to get a fair and a deserved chance of education. And for me, this is one of the key elements because without a well-educated generation coming up, there is always a risk on sustainability as much as so many other things. So the real initiative that really stands out is on the education side that we provide and support to the young generations around our plants. We have other initiatives like we have plantings, we have water recycling, and we have so many other initiatives. But truly what I really impose on is the more we have well-educated new generation coming up, this is the real sustainability initiatives that we are driving for.
Now, for an organization like Lafarge Africa PLC, I know your impact on environment must be a priority. Tell me some of the strategies being adopted to improve your environmental impact.
We are in a continuous development through the technology. By getting modern equipments in our plants, we reduce CO2 emissions, we make sure that we are environmental friendly in our industry. As I mentioned, in the water recycling as well, we bring technology where we reduce the waste of water and try to save the water for people to use as clean source of water, while we rely more on the recycling side, increasing the green areas around our platform to be able to absorb dust if there is any. There is a lot of filters have been installed across our plants to reduce emission and so on. So this is really the contribution towards environment, that we have to make sure that our surroundings of the plants are in a health and safe environment.
Do you think enough is being done by the private sector to contribute to sustainable development in Nigeria?
Well, sustainable development is a journey. I mean, I believe that there is no end objective for sustainable development. We are using existing resources for today's needs, while we need to make sure that the coming generations still have these resources to be used as well. So, and this is part of the sustainable development key fundamentals. How can we serve today without jeopardizing tomorrow? And back to your point, yes, there is a lot of room for improvement. There is a lot of room for innovation. There is a lot of room of collaboration between government sectors and public and private sectors in developing more and more initiatives to make sure that we're not impacting our needs of today, but still protecting the new generation needs as well for tomorrow and the future.
In Lafarge Africa PLC's over 60 years operation in Nigeria, well, we've been talking about the impact on Nigeria. Now, the other way around, what has been the experience of Lafarge Africa, or the impact the Nigerian business climate has had on the organization?
We are a multinational company, so we don't see ourselves as French, or being French even is something that was up to 2015, but when Lafarge and Holcim, as the two biggest players in the world in the cement industry, merged, we became as a head office based in Switzerland. But as part of being an international organization, our interest is to be really indulged and immersed in the local culture. So when we operate in a country like Nigeria, we are a Nigerian company. Lafarge Africa is a publicly listed company in the Nigerian stock market. So in Nigeria, we consider ourselves as a local company, a Nigerian company. We have stakeholders, we have local shareholders who are Nigerians. Lafarge Holcim, as a holding company, owns a stake in the company, but we still have shareholders who are Nigerian. So when we talk about Lafarge Africa, we talk about a Nigerian company operating in Nigeria. So we are fully fitting within the culture, within the language, and if there is any barriers over the years, it has been resolved. Lafarge Africa is the first cement company in the country, and we've been here for over 60 years now. So I think we are by definition a Nigerian company. We learn from all of our countries, especially in Middle East and Africa, where we exchange experience, we exchange knowledge from one country and the other. Africa has a lot of similarities between different countries. Nigeria in particular, being one of the biggest countries in the region, is a big part to develop people, to export resources from here when it comes to talents. So that's why we are very keen on training our people in Nigeria and make sure that they have the right opportunities, whether in the country or among the group.
You're watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. When we return, we'll see how the Redeemed Christian Church of God is supporting the fight against COVID-19 and other contributions in areas of need. Please stay with us. The Redeemed Christian Church of God is supporting the fight against COVID-19 in Nigeria with donations of medical supplies and equipment to Lagos State, the epicenter of the outbreak, and neighboring Ogun State to support efforts of the state governments to curb the pandemic. Take a look.
Mainland Hospital Yaba in Lagos is among medical facilities providing healthcare and solace for patients of the novel coronavirus disease. The successes recorded in the treatment and discharge of patients who contracted the deadly virus have been achieved with support from many organizations, including faith-based organization, the Redeemed Christian Church of God. A team from the church is here to present medical supplies, mostly for the protection of frontline medical personnel.
We are giving out 200,000 hand sanitizer, 8,000 surgical blades, and 8,000 masks. And what has informed this is to just give back to the society and to support the effort of both the Lagos state government and the federal government, and all the effort of the international organizations that have made contribution to the fight of the pandemic that is ongoing globally.
It's not a matter of religion this time around. It's a thing that every one of us have to come together to fight. So we have been having donation from voluntary organizations, and then now we are having from a religious organization. It shows the importance they attach to us containing this particular outbreak.
The medical intervention is replicated in Ogun State. This time, it's medical equipment from the church's intensive care unit in the Redemption Camp. The equipment donated include 2 ventilators, 2 ICU beds, 2 infusion pumps, 1 vital signs monitor, and 1 suctioning machine.
Definitely what the Redeemed Christian Church of God has done today has been a big boost to our preparedness to be able to cope with this. If our patients do develop respiratory failure, these pieces of equipment will become invaluable to saving lives in this country. And I'm very happy that the church is supporting us in this aspect.
These donations by the Redeemed Christian Church of God to the global health crisis is an addition to ongoing contributions targeted at improving healthcare delivery in Nigeria, a reflection of the church's commitment to responding to other socio-economic needs in society, in addition to its primary role of meeting the spiritual needs of believers.
Indeed, faith-based organizations have a role to play in contributing to development, just like private companies. The Assistant General Overseer of Administration and Personnel of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Johnson Odeshola, who I had a conversation with, says the church is fully aware of this and runs a number of CSR programs aimed at improving society. Here's what he had to say.
As a church, we're an entity and which also believe that our people are part of the people who live in the country. Despite the fact that we are doing our wee bit, Redeem, we have a couple of hospitals, not just at the Redemption Camp, but we have in Lagos, we have somewhere else in the north and in the east. And we thought, if we are spending so much within our own catchment area, government must be spending quite a lot, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, which nobody really think about. It just came, and it was on this, the leadership of the church, that the Adeboye with the governing council decided that we need to support the government to the maximum. As at that time, we already we already have something, a consignment of things coming from abroad that we want to use for different hospitals. We want to donate to teaching university. We have done some, and we said, okay, this one coming, let's donate to the immediate government and see how we can do and help in all other areas.
Okay, let's talk about CSR. CSR means different things to different people. I know for the Redeemed Christian Church of God, CSR itself, the acronym stands for something else, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what CSR means, the concept, what it means to the church, and how important it is?
For us, CSR, as it were, You know, the people call it corporate social responsibility. We call it Christian social responsibility, or Christian special responsibility. Now, because, you know, just as any other social activity, they target sport, culture, health issues. Those are the things we do first. But because we have to look inside in order to influence outside, we zero in on our circle of influence. So for us, it's about feeding the people, giving them good health, make sure that their children go to a proper school, and their involvement in the society, in the area of sport, in interaction. Those are few things we concentrate upon when it comes to CSR. And we not just only doing it at the top, it's cascaded down to the parishes. There is no any parish in RCCG globally that we don't have something going on there. So just to support the government effort, we know that the government they are trying, but there is no single government in anywhere in the world that can meet the need of the population. They will try. So in order to assist them, do what we can do inside. And in all our hospitals, like we said, if you are a redeemed member, it's almost free. If you're an outsider, they charge you a peanut. If you have an emergency, either a surgery or accident, the redeemed attend to you free of charge by the grace of God. And that's one of our contributions to the society.
Do you think the church as a whole is doing enough to contribute to development in Nigeria, especially considering the fact that in a society like Nigeria, there are so many churches?
I presume so. I presume so in the sense that when I said I presume so, in the sense that the church is a charity organization. And their primary aim is to preach the gospel. But to preach the gospel, they need support. It's from the support that they take the gospel further. I think they are doing enough. My challenge actually is the fact that, you know, in our society, here in Africa, maybe I take Nigeria for an example, it's because of the lacuna in the society. It's lacuna in the governance that make people to be asking the question. And if all things work well, unlike in the UK, you need to declare, because when you pay tithe in the UK, for example, they give you back certain percentage. The government, if you show the evidence that you pay, because it's a charity organization. So the government can ask and say, no, we pay some of your member back. Let us see what you have done. Take the camp, for example. The Ogun State is getting tax from us, but they don't do light for us. We did the light, we did the road, we generate water, we have almost everything. The police station we have, we build it, and they're asking tax. So the church is doing their best, but because of the laxity in the society, bad governance, I think the society are asking questions where they shouldn't look. They're okay, government has failed us. You, what about you? So the church is doing quite well. By my own assessment, the church is doing well. Although they could do better, but they do well.
And that's this week's episode. Thank you for watching. Let's stay connected on social media. The accounts are showing on your screen. I'm Uche Aluku. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.